Hello viewers, I am Mr. Dilip Kumar Pal, stand before you on a very important topic of DSE-3 of 6th semester, and the name of the paper is India's Foreign Policy in a Changing World, and the name of the topic is India's Look East Policy. Today's topic for my video is India's Look East Policy. So far as India's Look East Policy is concerned, we'll discuss mainly three aspects of it. One is the meaning of India's Look East Policy. Number two, motives behind it. What are the motives behind this policy? And number three, steps taken to promote this policy. What is the meaning of India's Look East Policy? What are the motives behind this policy? And number three, steps taken to promote this policy. But before I start my video on the topic India's Look East Policy, I want to inform my viewers that if you have subscribed my channel, you will get the benefit. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe for your benefit. And those of your friends who are in plus 2 first year to plus 2 second year political science as a subject, and plus 3 first semester to plus 3 sixth semester political science as honors subject, and those of your friends who are reading in plus 3 first semester environmental studies as a paper, please aware them about this channel so that some students will be benefited. Remember not to hesitate to give help to anybody. To give help to anybody is the highest duty of a person. And in my channel number is @Dilip Kumar Pal 9375. You'll get more than 450 videos relating to plus 2 first year to plus 2 second year political science, and plus 3 first semester to plus 3 sixth semester political science honors, and many videos on environmental studies which is found in plus 3 first year first semester, which is common for plus 3 first year arts, commerce and science students. Again, I want to inform my viewers that any video you want, just write my name Dilip Kumar Pal and the name of the topic. If it is available in the channel, you will get both in Odia version and English version. If you will find any video in Odia form, be sure that its English version is available. If you will find any video in English form, be sure that its Odia version is also available. Let us start. India's Look East Policy. What is India's Look East Policy? Let us start. What is India's Look East Policy? World is a changing world. The world is a changing world. Situations in the world is changing frequently. So on the basis of changing situations in the world, every nation is changing its foreign policy. India is not an exception from this trend. It is also changing its foreign policies on the basis of changing situation in the world. The world is a changing world. In the world, situations are changing frequently or every now and then. As world is a changing world, as situations are changing in the world from time to time, so every nation is trying to change its foreign policy on the basis of situation which is changing. So on the basis of changing situation in the world, every country is changing its foreign policy, otherwise a country cannot survive. And from this trend, India is not an exception. India is also changing its foreign policy on the basis of situational changes in the world. India's look east policy is the result of changing situation in the world. India's look east policy is the result of changing situation in the world, like disintegration of Soviet Union in 1991, with which Indian economy was linked. Number 2, China's domination in Southeast Asia, which created problem for Indian security from the angle of Southeast Asia in general and Myanmar in particular. Conversion of world into a unipolar world from bipolar world, and India's interest to promote trade relations with 11 Southeast nations and open its market for them due to the process of globalization. So, the world is a changing world. World is changing from time to time. Situations are changing from time to time in the world. So, on the basis of changing situations in the world, nations are also changing their foreign policy. Otherwise, nations cannot survive. From this trend, India is not an exception. India is also changing its foreign policy on the basis of changes in situations in the world. And India's look east policy is the result of changing situations in the world. In 1991, Soviet Union was disintegrated, with which Indian economy was much depending on it. Then the domination of China in Southeast Asia, which will be a threat for India from Southeast angle in general and Myanmar in particular, or Burma in particular. Then changing the world from the bipolar into unipolar. Then India's interest to enhance its trade in Southeast Asia region. Due to all these reasons, India's look east policy has been emerged. So, to face the changing situation in the world after 1991, India's look east policy was launched by then Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao in 1991 officially, although the term look east policy was mentioned for the first time in the annual report of the Ministry of External Affairs 1995 to 1996. So, due to face the changing situation in the world, like disintegration of Soviet Union, division of Soviet Union, with which Indian economy was very much dependent, then domination of China in Southeast Asia, which will pose a problem to the security of India from Southeast angle in general and Myanmar in particular. Then conversion of world from bipolar into unipolar. Then India's interest to expand its trade in Southeast Asia, its interest to become a regional power. Due to all these factors, India has launched its look east policy. So due to above situations, India's Look East policy was launched in 1991 by then Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao. It was officially launched in 1991, though it was mentioned for the first time in the annual report of the Ministry of External Affairs 1995 to 1996. About this policy, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh once told about India's Look East policy. Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh once told, it is not merely an external economic policy. It is not merely an external economic policy. It is also a strategic shift in India's vision of the world and India's place in the evolving global economy. About this policy, Manmohan Singh once told, former Prime Minister of India, it was not merely a external economic policy, it was a shift in the strategic, it was a shift in India's foreign policy in strategic point of view. He told it is not merely an external economic policy, it is also a strategic shift in India's vision of the world. It is not merely a external economic policy, it is a strategic shift in India's foreign policy towards vision of the world. India looks towards world in different way. So it is an important foreign policy. So what is India's Look East policy? Meaning, what is India's Look East policy? India's Look East policy. India's Look East policy means to promote political, economic and security cooperation with Southeast nations who are 11 in number, like Brunei, Myanmar, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Laos, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam and Timor-Leste, to counter China's domination in this area and to emerge as a leading regional power in this region. So, what is India's Look East policy? India's Look East policy means the interest of India to promote its relations, the interest of India to promote its interest in establishing a relationship with 11 Southeast nations like Brunei, Myanmar, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Laos, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, Timor-Leste. So India's Look East policy means the interest of India to have greater relationship with Southeast nations who are 11 in number. And the object behind this policy are mainly two. Number one, to counter China's domination in Southeast Asia. India wants to have good relationship with nations of Southeast Asia to counter China. And number two, in order to become a powerful regional power, India wants to have good relationship with Southeast Asian nations. So India's Look East policy means India's interest to have good relationship with Southeast Asian nations. Why? For two reasons. Number two, to counter China's domination in this region. In one hand, because China's domination in Southeast Asia will be a problem for security of India from Southeast angle in general and Myanmar or Burma in particular. Number two, In order to become a powerful regional power, India wants to have good relationship with these Southeast Asian nations. So, in this policy, it also tries to promote noble relations with all these nations in this region in defense, trade and tourism. India tries to have good relationship with all these Southeast Asian nations in the field of defense, trade, tourism. So we are clear about the meaning of India's Look East policy. Now we'll discuss motives behind India's Look East policy. We are clear what is India's Look East policy. Now discuss what are the motives behind this policy. We'll discuss here mainly 5 motives. Number 1, to check China's dominance in the Southeast Asia. The first reason behind this policy is, the first motive behind this policy is to check China's domination in this region. China's dominance in this region is a threat towards India. From its southeast angle, China's domination in Southeast Asia will be a problem for India. From its northeast angle, in general, and Myanmar in particular. So, China's domination in this region is a threat towards India from its southeast angle, especially from Myanmar side. So, China's domination in the Southeast Asia will be a problem for India from the Burma or Myanmar side. So, to counter China's influence in this region, India developed its Look East policy to have good relationship with nations of this region. So, to counter China's domination in Southeast Asia, if China will have domination in this area, there will be a problem for India from the side of Myanmar. So, to counter China's domination in Southeast Asia, India develops the Look East policy. Number 2, to counter China's policy to help Pakistan. As China is helping Pakistan, which is an enemy state of India, to counter China, India is helping nations of this region like Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia with defense equipment. Another motive is to counter China's help to Pakistan. As China is helping Pakistan, which is an enemy state of India, so to counter China, India is providing different type of help to enemy states of China like Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia with defense equipment. As China is helping Pakistan, which is an enemy country of India, so to give same type of challenge to China, India is also assisting enemy states of China like Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia. India is giving them defense equipment. The third motive behind India's Look East policy is promote economic development. To promote its economic development by export and import, India tries to promote its interest in this region. To promote its economic interest in the field of export and import, India tries to promote its relations in Southeast Asia region. Now 4, to maintain peace in northeastern states. As many insurgent groups, anti-national groups, are operating in northeastern states bordering Myanmar, particularly India tries to have good relationship with them for not giving shelter to them, because in the northeastern states of India, various insurgent groups, anti-national groups are operating. So to check them, India tries to have good relationship with Southeast Asian nations in general, Myanmar in particular, not to give them shelter. So if India will have good relationship with these nations in general and Myanmar in particular, then there will be peace in northeastern region of India. 5. The fifth motive behind this policy is to promote development of northeast states. To promote development of northeast states, India develops its look east policy. How? For the development of these states, India wants to connect them with Southeast Asian nations like Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, etc. for trade. For the development of northeast states of India, India wants to connect them with Southeast Asian nations like Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, and Thailand for better trade. So these are the motives behind of this policy. So we are clear meaning of India's look east policy. We have also discussed motives behind this policy. We have discussed 5 motives. Then we'll discuss steps taken to promote this policy. What steps have been taken to promote this policy? Number 1, BSIM economic corridor to promote better trade among Bangladesh, China, India, and Myanmar. In 1999, economic corridor was established known as Kunming Initiative. So the first step to promote India's look east policy is BCIM. B for Bangladesh, C for China, I for India, M for Myanmar. So to have better trade relationship between Bangladesh, China, India, and Myanmar, an economic corridor was established in 1999, known as Kunming Initiative. Kunming is in China. Number 2, BIMSTEC. BIMSTEC means in 1997, Bay of Bengal Initiative of multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation was established to promote development among Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan. To promote development of Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan, BIMSTEC in 1997, Bay of Bengal Initiative of multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation was formed. Number 3, MCG, Mekong Gonga Cooperation. In November 10, 2000, India, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Myanmar, and Vietnam formed an organization to promote their development in Vientiane. It is the capital of Laos. So for the development of India, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Myanmar, and Vietnam, MCG, Mekong Gonga Cooperation was formed. Then the 4th, proposal to link Delhi and Hanoi, capital of Vietnam. There is a proposal for Trans-Asian Railway to link Delhi and Hanoi. 5th, there is a proposal to link Singapore and Istanbul, capital of Turkey, via India by Trans-Asian Highway. 6th, in 2004, Trans-Car Rally was organized between Batam, Indonesia to Guwahati. 7, steps have been taken to link Imphal and Mandale, Myanmar by bus. 8, 800 kilometer long gas pipeline among India, Myanmar, Bangladesh under consultations. 9, India has been given a status of partner for ASEAN organization. ASEAN stands for Association of Southeast Asian nation, and EAS, East Asian Summit Organization, having 18 nations. So India has been given a status of a partner for ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and EAS, East Asian Summit Organization, where 18 nations are members. So we are clear in this video meaning of India's look east policy, motives behind it, and steps taken for the promotion of this policy. I have full confidence that this video will be helpful for 6th semester students for the DSE-3 paper. And I want to inform my viewers that while I am teaching, just listen to me simultaneously to the whiteboard so that you will be clear. Thank you. Have a good day.